All right, hello everyone. Welcome to the Corner Store Podcast. My name is Rob, and here with me we got my cousin Abdul.
How you
Say
doing?
hello to the people, Abdul.
How's it going? How's it going?
Nice, man. Hey, everything's good, man. So, the reason why we having this video is because my cousin and I we pretty much kind of agree on 99.9% of just general things. So it took us a couple of days just kind of find out, okay, what do we disagree on? So we were just bouncing ideas around, and then finally I was like, hey. What do you think of the notion of patriarchy? Do you think it should be dismantled? And you said yes. I was like, okay, that's our topic right there. Okay, so okay, you don't subscribe to the notion of patriarchy. So tell the viewers of why you don't and what would you substitute it with?
Well, I don't subscribe to it because any system where you put one group of people in charge of another group of people, you have inequality. And right now, there's a lot of things going on in our society where women are really speaking out about the inequality that they have. It's easy for us to as men to kind of overlook that stuff because it doesn't affect us. But just like racism, they get paid less. They have less opportunities for jobs, things like that. So they're definitely they're definitely put at a lower stake than men, and the reason why is because of the patriarch society that we live in. So my thing is I believe that we should all be equal. I mean, equality can't start until you start with the two biggest populations on the earth, and that's male and female. So I
Right.
think that it should be more of a collective.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Are we not equal already?
Uh,
Men and women?
no, absolutely not. Come on now.
How? Because we are equal. We are equal under the law.
Under the
We
law.
we right. We have a
And
constitution.
and
They
so
are
are black people equal to white people under the law.
right.
But we still get arrested more often. We have less opportunities for jobs. We don't have the educational benefits and stuff that we should have in our neighborhoods. Things like that. So
Mm-hmm.
even though we're supposed to be equal, we're not treated equal. It's the same thing with males and females. Males are in charge of everything. If you look at all of the top companies, and all of our leadership, it's all males. So, and not all males, but it's primarily male. And once you saturate anything with one, group of people, then their thought process is what starts to basically run the world, you know? So because they all are thinking alike, they all are making the decisions. So now we're, being put underneath, those rules. And women are completely left out, but there's other people, because it's white males that are actually, that are actually in charge. So I mean, there's a lot of other people that are not white males that are left out. So
We're on 2020, right? We're not in 1950, correct?
no,
Are we on 2020?
yes,
Well,
and it's
by
funny.
the way you sound, you sound like we're in the 60s, man.
Well, and it's funny because somebody was talking to me about that. Like,
Uh,
oh man, how much change have you seen? I go, when I look at history and I hear about all the things that were going on, we're still putting up with. It doesn't have to be the exact same thing, but we're
mm-hmm.
dealing with issues that we shouldn't have to deal with, and whatever those specific ones are, we have always had to deal with them since the first people were brought over on slave ships till
Mm-hmm.
now. We've had to deal with stuff we shouldn't have had to deal with. So things have never gotten any better. So are we living in the 1950s? Absolutely. When it comes to what's really going on in the world,
I mean, yes, like in the Middle East and Russia and Korea and China, yes, those are real patriarchal societies. But as far as in the US, in general, you can kind of do anything you want, whether you're male or female. Nothing's really holding you back.
No, see, and again, like I say, it's easy for us to think that to be males, but if you look at the statistics,
Mm-hmm.
females don't get, the job opportunities often. When they do get it, they are definitely underpaid.
Oh, so you agree that there's a gender pay gap?
Oh my gosh, yes, there is.
Oh, that is a myth. That is a
No,
myth. The gender pay
no.
gap is a myth. Now, okay, so you mentioned how you said that men and women, they're not equal as far as like the representation, as far as like the leadership in like corporate America and government so and so, correct?
Hmm.
But in general, men and women, we kind of go after different things. As far as like men are more likely to go into the STEM fields, and women are likely to kind of be more towards the liberal arts type of stuff. So like between each industries, I mean there's definitely a ceiling when it comes to liberal arts, um, concentrations versus STEM. Because with STEM, I mean, you can, those are, doctors and scientists and chemists, astronauts. I mean, sky's the limits for those type of industries, and women are succeeding in those as well. But when it comes to the arts, there's only so much they can go. So that's why, there's a there's an imbalance with, as far as the way you think about how men are progressing more better than women. I mean, men and women just want different things.
Well, and that's an easy way to kind of look at it. But, let's go back to the 1950s.
Mm-hmm.
Men were sent to shop to learn how to fix cars and to work on wood, where
Okay.
women were sent to home ec, where they were, taught how to cook and take care of the house. So the thing is
But are they doing that
that,
now?
well, the thing is if you look at history and how things are pushed, the reason why we're doing the things today are because of the things that happened yesterday. It's not because of what's happening right now is why we're doing what we're doing right now. It's because of the areas that we've been pushed in. So the thing is if you tell a woman that, all she's supposed to be doing is sitting in the house. I mean, think about it. It wasn't too long ago that, they were fighting to get out of the house and get jobs. And I mean, men believe that they shouldn't be in the workforce, that they should be home,
Right. Men back in those days, but like today, I don't think many men really express that type of sentiment. I mean,
Well, see, and they don't. And again, it's funny because I'll go back to racism of, what was it for a white person to call a black person a nigger 50 years ago? It was nothing.
right,
They would do
right,
that in a heartbeat, but
right.
they have to change their tactics. But they still haven't changed their thought processes because they're
Mm-hmm.
still racist and they're still doing the racist stuff. And the reason why we still have the problems we have.
Okay.
So you can't just take the actions that you see them doing and saying, well, because they're not doing this, they're things are this way, because we know that our Constitution says that we're equal and every man is free. But
Mm-hmm.
how many black and brown people did they lock up through the 80s and 90s? America had at one time 25% of the world's criminals.
I mean, yes, that devastated pretty much the way our family structure was.
Yeah.
They took men out of the homes, with the mass incarceration, the drug war. I mean,
Hmm.
yeah. So I definitely understand that part, but
And in our
that
community, it's pitted men against women,
right.
because now you grow up in a society where in your neighborhood you can't find work, you get caught up in whatever you get caught up in, and you're gonna get arrested at some point. Now you have a record, you get you know uh, uh,
Specifically
you
a
know
felony. If you have a
specifically
felony,
if you get a felony,
yeah,
now you're in the system,
right.
and really the way our system works, there's nothing that you can do to be forgiven for that. You will always carry that
Right, right,
in one way
right,
or another. And so now your opportunities have been diminished. And so now that you have less opportunity, how are you going to help this woman over here?
right,
You know?
right, right.
So it pits us against each other too.
And they gave our women like an opening because, like in general, women always been kind of pushed more in like as far as like the education, as far as they push the girls to kind of succeed, while they kind of like lead the boys off to the wayside. But women were always encouraged, especially black women, like encouraged to get their education and then worry about getting married, starting a family later. So they literally kind of like chose career and education more than as a priority, more than trying to start a family, like in
Right.
general. So, but now, as far as in the workforce, you mentioned how men and women have a gender pay gap. Now,
Mhm.
what makes you think that there's a pay gap?
Well, and I heard some of the comments. What I'm talking about is if you were to take like, and I don't know which fields they've done this in, but I've talked to people, that have looked at the studies, and if you look at women that are working in a specific field, and then you look at men that are working in that exact same field, on average, women are paid less. Now, that doesn't mean like because they're doing something different than a man. I'm talking about somebody that has the same amount of experience, doing the same job. They've both been doing it. They're both 20 years at doing this job. Typically, the man is getting paid more than the woman, and that's what the studies have shown.
Well, I think those studies are misleading. Men and women get paid the same, but if you used to tell me that they earn differently, yes, they earn differently because of like lifestyle choices. Men are likely to work the overtime. They're likely to stay late at work. They're more likely to like take on more assignments. While in general, women are likely to not work on that proposal late. They're likely to go to the recitals. They're likely to go
So
to the sports events.
so
So
this takes all of that out of it. This is looking at just your pay per hour. What are you getting paid per hour? We're not talking about how much you're earning, how much you're actually taking home. What
mhm,
we're saying is if I've got 20 years experience as an aeronautic tech of some sort, and there's a female counterpart to me that has the exact same amount of experience, I'm not talking about we take home, but I'm talking about base pay, whether it's salary, whether it's hourly. On average, men get paid more than women.
that's not true at all. That's not true at all. If they have the same exact resume, they have to get paid the same. I mean, that's against the law.
Okay,
According,
it's not against the law
according,
because I will tell you
according.
that I had a better resume than 3/4 of the white males that were in the construction company that I was with. The last construction company that I worked with before I kind of got out of that business.
Mhm.
And it was interesting to me the day that I accidentally walked in on a meeting, and it was completely by accident, but it was just like a movie. You walk in the back door and everybody turns and looks at you, like you shouldn't be there. And you look up and on the board, what do I see there? I see they're having a seminar talking about the gasoline allowance that people are receiving and the changes that they're going to make to it. And then
Okay.
it didn't take me that long to quickly scan down and see so many people that were getting gas allowances that were just driving to work and back home.
Right.
And they were doing office engineers duties. They were definitely doing way lesser duties than I was doing. I had a way better resume than them. And I also had to go to 3 different job sites around Denver. But for some reason, I wasn't getting a gas allowance and they were. That's how racism works. And that's how it works with sexism too, is that these little things that you can get, the little benefits, the little bumps, we all didn't get paid the same amount. It all has to do in that corporate environment. It all has to do with how much your boss can petition for you, because it's not like they just have raises to give out. A lot
Mhm.
of corporations have a certain amount that they know they're going to give out in raises, and they have to decide who's going to get what amount. Some people get more, some people get less.
Okay, so being that you found that out, in which you wasn't supposed to, were you able to kind of like build your lawsuit against the company
Oh,
and
that was
prove?
right before the recession. They ended up laying off a bunch of people, including me. And to be honest with you, I mean, what am I going to get a lawsuit for? A lot of
Okay.
people just say, sue them for what? One, I got to prove that they did something, that they shouldn't have done. And like I said, it's not against the law for them to give them that pay and not give it to me. Were they dicks about it? Yeah. I mean, because come on, I'm driving around Denver and these people are not, and I wasn't even getting this and didn't realize that all these other people were,
Mhm.
so, but there was a lot of other things that are like that too,
Mhm.
and, it's kind of funny. A lot of the brown people were fired after during the layoffs. There was a lot of brown people that were gone too. So,
Right.
the whole
Right.
thing is that there's inequality. There's absolutely inequality in this world, and it starts somewhere, and it's got to end somewhere, and it's just ending inequality. I think because the family should be equal. There shouldn't be one person that should have all the say. You know, and
I
that's the reason why
mean,
it's a family.
you always find instances in which some men here are paid more than women, and some women are paid more than men. I mean, you will always find those type of cases, but in general, if you work in the same industry, the same length of time you work, the same experience, you're supposed to get paid the same.
You're
You know.
supposed to.
Now,
Exactly.
yes,
But you're
yes.
not. That's not how it works. That is absolutely not how it works.
I mean, if there was a big rampant conspiracy to like pay women less, I mean, it'd be so many lawsuits across America. Like in general,
We're gonna look up some stuff after this podcast because I think you'll be
that's fine.
surprised.
That is fine. That is fine. I mean, remember we have the Equal Pay Act that was passed in 1963, passed by John F. Kennedy. So you know,
Well,
you got
when were we given our equal rights?
when were we given our equal rights? As far
You keep talking about these
as
laws, but I mean, the thing is just because they
as far,
pass a law to say that things are going to be equal doesn't mean that it's equal, you know? And I mean, shoot, they just, do you know how many times they have cases where the states will bring charges up against somebody? I mean, some of the more egregious ones were, of course, way back, you know, during the Jim Crow era, where they actually had a guy that was sentenced to death for stealing $2.52 worth of something, you know, and he was actually sentenced to death, and they had to take it up to the federal, you know, government to have, you know, have it overturned. So, I mean, the thing is even though there's laws out there, there's ways to get around the laws. We know that, you know, it's not equal just because there's a law. The only way it's equal is if it's being practiced equally, you know, not just because somebody's saying we're equal. Well, that doesn't make us equal, you know?
Okay, so basically, by you saying that there's a big discrepancy between men and women today. So, like, for instance, in the family court, you know, when it comes to alimony, child support.
Oh, what
And
that's not pay, and that could be a whole nother discussion because
I
I was
understand that.
actually a part of that, and women absolutely rule that portion of the courts and how they get money. I mean, I had a pretty horrific experience with somebody specifically lying to me so that I could not get money that I was owed because she didn't think that my ex-wife should be paying me child support because she was a woman. So, you know, that type of stuff happens too. And again, that could be a whole nother discussion because that's a pretty good discussion to talk about. But
yeah, I know, but as far as like most of the outcomes that come from those cases, you would think that women don't have any agency to like have their own houses or jobs or income or you know, savings. So I mean, you would think that like women are so oppressed that, you know, they have to be compensated so much from those outcomes. So I mean, I just think that it just so you know, it is so unfair to me. And I mean, I never been through none of that type of stuff, but all the horror stories that I, you know, heard about, I was like, man, like how come they just won't update the laws of how it would be fair in today's society? So, you know,
because a lot of our laws aren't fair anyways, which is my whole point. You know, there's not a lot of fairness going on, and it's funny because, you know, when you grow up and you have children, you know, and you're going to want to teach them to be right, be fair, but unfortunately that's not our society. And if you're right and you're fair and you're the good guy, you lose. You know, they say the good guy, you know, finishes last. So you know, and the reason why is because we're in an unfair society.
Well, it's kind of funny just to kind of hear you give your views on this issue because, like, you know, we're both our military men, and as far as being military men, you know, as far as what the military does, you know, they would just go at people with an iron fist. You know, if you come at us like a 9/11, if you come at us, then we're gonna go invade your country and we're gonna take your resources. I mean, it's pretty much no holds barred. But I mean, honestly, that's what patriarchy is all about. I mean, if you fuck with us, then we're gonna get at you back. I mean,
Well,
that's what we that's about the whole protection. That's the whole you know, looking out for your fellow man, looking out for your fellow woman. You know, patriotic. I mean, that's what it's all about.
yeah, well, unfortunately, you know, the reason why a lot of countries don't like the U.S. and are attacking the U.S. is because of the things that we're doing. They're just not attacking us for no reason. We go over there, you know, we put our regimes in places and bring our politics over there and bring our culture over to areas and start to take over their culture. And people are upset about that type of stuff, you know, and, you know, that of course is no justification for, you know, any sort of violence. But all I'm saying is that America is the biggest bully out there. We're the biggest bully. We have the biggest stick. And like you said, if anyone says anything we don't like, we'll just go crush them, just listen to our president. So, but that doesn't make that right. And that doesn't fix anything. All it means is that the person that wins tells the history. And that's what we've had for the last, 5,000 years is the winner is what's telling the history. We don't know the real history of everything that's gone on because there's been civilizations and stuff that have probably been completely destroyed and wiped out. No traces of them. People that will, and not saying huge ones, but I mean, there's stuff out there that we'll never know about because the winners tell the history.
So basically, you just got to win.
No.
You just got to win, right?
No, we need to change our. We need to. Yeah, right. Yeah, we have to stop trying to win. Instead, let's all win. Why don't we try to cooperate instead?
Right. All right. I mean, all right. Under a patriarchy, in general, men are the builders of the infrastructure. There are more men dying from workplace accidents versus women. So one was to say, hey, you know what? Even though there's like a gender pay gap, so what? I mean, they're just a tax that women pay because we definitely work anyway. What would you say about that?
So you picked a really good one for me because I did construction and construction management for the longest time. And I will tell you that the reason why more men die is because it's only men doing it, because it is a man's culture. There's very few females that can actually get into that field and work because they're literally ridiculed.
Now why are females doing it?
Because they're ridiculed. It's sexist as hell. I mean, just a job site. Come on now. That's all they talk about is a job site, workers, whistling at women. Come on now. You think if a woman worker comes onto the job site that she doesn't have to deal with sexism and all of that stuff. She has to deal with that stuff too. It's very hostile to women. And so it's harder for women to get into that field. A lot of the women that I see get into that field are ones that, they just know how to deal with those guys, are willing to just deal with the bullshit, but they still have to deal with it. It's still not fair. So, I mean, of course more men die because more men are doing it,
Okay. Now I'm at you. Of course I do want all women to be paid equal as men. I have 2 daughters. I want them to have, as much opportunity as the next man and also as the next woman. So just because I'm pro patriarchy doesn't mean that I'm anti-woman. I mean, I'm far from anti-woman. So we just having a conversation just full disclosure. So I'm just picking your brain. So I'm just trying to learn myself. So maybe I'm wrong. So maybe I'm wrong.
I guess when I started thinking this way is, being in the military, working in construction management, working corporate America, and having to deal with America and, the racism and stuff like that, and understanding the inequalities. It was just, I don't know, when everything kind of came up with women and their inequalities, it was kind of easy for me to understand that, I tell people all the time, I can't tell a woman what it's like to be pregnant. And if I decided to, that would just be ignorance. So, white people can't tell black people about racism because they don't have to deal with it. They go, well, there's no racism. Well, of course, in your world, there's not because you don't have to deal with it. So there's no racism. But you can't tell somebody that's has to deal with it, what it's like. So.
Yeah. Now, like, when it comes to the races, patriarchy is like live and well because their economy runs very efficient. I mean, look at Asians, look at the Jews, look at the Middle Easterns when they come here and open up gas stations, 7-Elevens, Dunkin' Donuts. When you got Jews opening up commercial real estate, the Asians, they have the beauty care industry on lockdown. So apparently their patriarchies are pretty much alive and well. But unfortunately for us, we have a matriarchy in general because we don't have many homes that's headed by men. Most of them are headed by single mothers. Kids are running rampant. I mean, would you think that a patriarchy would benefit the African American community?
Not in the racist society that we live in, because all they're trying to do is tear down the African American male. So not to say that it wouldn't be beneficial, but I'm just saying I don't think it would work in this society, because the society is specifically now built to destroy, the African American male. So, it wouldn't work here because of the society we're in, not because, it wouldn't help out. Of course, if we had men in the household helping raise the children, at a higher rate, I think it would be tremendously beneficial, and I think that, as a people, we should be striving for that as much as possible, and, teaching our younger generation that, but, you know, I think more than anything, we need to start working together, because
As far as men and women.
men and women,
Oh yeah, definitely.
because we're not going to get through this unless we work together. So,
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much that's kind of like keeping people from like taking risks and as far as starting businesses and we're workers instead of owners.
yeah,
So the whole student debt is actually one of the major factors, especially towards the women, because most women, black women, they probably got more college educations than black men. So,
mm-hmm.
but but in order to break this cycle, to me, I believe that men and women have to get together under matrimony, and because to me, you build wealth better when there's two people coming together, raising kids under one roof, and then that kid is a fully functional person that's going to be, functioning in society later on down the road. And as long as our offspring are not coming up at a disadvantage, then we definitely got a shot in kind of turning this tide around.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Now, unfortunately, I mean, like one of the loudest voices who wants to tear down the patriarchy are the alphabet community and the feminists.
Mm.
So, I mean, I pretty much been like a fly on a wall with like Black YouTube, and I hear all these type of conversations, right? So, like, what I hear is stuff like under patriarchy, folks like gays and like transsexuals, like they really don't have a value under patriarchy because they really don't procreate in order to pass down like a lineage in like a real patriarchy.
Well, not in the same system. I mean, they can, but they can still pass on their lineage. Also, the that community, it's just it's just not the same traditional family structures is really is what it is. And so, yeah, they don't fit in America's traditional family structure. So, it makes sense that they wouldn't support that structure. So,
yeah, okay. So, all right, well, damn, how long we been on for? I guess at least half an hour.
yeah, and a
I
half
mean,
hour.
do you have any last minute things to get off your chest?
Just equality, again, to me, it seems like the reason why when white America is screaming that black people just want more, just want more, just want more, and we're saying we just want to be equal, we just want to be equal. I think it's the same thing with women. The thing is you're going to have women out there that, of course, are going to be, think that women should rule and there should be a matriarch and things of that nature. But, I think that if we were equal, that a lot of women would be happy with that. They wouldn't need more, so we just need to stop winning and try to start, cooperating and working together and stuff. And, I think it'll be a lot better society if we had everybody's voice, active.
Okay. All right. Well, again, full disclosure, I am pro patriarchy. I am not anti-woman. I got two daughters. Again, I got two daughters. So,
which was interesting. I know you got two daughters, and your thought processes on things may change as you get a little bit older.
Who knows? We'll see. I mean, I'll be 40 coming up in a few months, so I doubt it. I doubt
it. Well, when Cassidy was 10 years younger, when I was turning 40, I think I was still in a matriarch or patriarch, mindset,
Yeah.
of this is completely natural and normal. And, it really hasn't been until Cassidy got older and she's actually going out into the world, and, she's no longer got the protection of, being at home and doing what she's told. Now she's out in the world, and that's what kind of changes, I think. It changed my mind, at least, on, how things kind of run, and the difficulties that she's going to run into, just, being who she is. So.
I mean, I would hope that my daughters meet competent, functioning men later on down the road. I don't want them to meet broken men that was raised under dysfunction. So, like I said earlier, the best way to turn this tide is for kids to be raised in two-parent household. So, I mean, hopefully, I mean that's why patriarchy would bring that forth.
Well, see,
and,
but I don't think you need the man to take charge for you to have a man, a woman, and children in the household running smoothly. You know what I'm saying?
you see, that's like another conversation because women don't respect men who don't want to be men.
Well, the whole thing is of course they're women. They think that they're from Venus. We're from Mars, so we do think a
Yeah,
little bit differently. But I mean, it's kind of interesting. I don't know if you've ever read the book, but Men are from Mars, Women are from Venus. But
I heard about it.
you should read it. You really should read it. I mean, it's not going to be anything that's going to change your mind about who you think should be in charge or anything like that. It's more of about when you hear a woman say this, she means that. When a guy says this, he's really feeling like that. And it talks about how men and women communicate a little bit. It was a very, very good read.
I mean, I mean, honestly, I don't need the book to tell me how women think because women are very emotional. They change mood several times a day. I mean, men could be even killed for the most part, no matter what we're doing. Just like on Sundays, we could literally just sit on the couch for 8 hours to watch football and not want nothing else. And women just can't understand why we could just do that. While they got to have several things going on at the same time. So
So you just saying, and they don't understand. That's the reason why you should read the book. I'll tell you everything you said. I thought all those exact same things. And then
yeah.
one day I decided to read the book, and I did not read the entire book. I only got about 3/4 of the way through with it. But very eye opening, very good information.
Okay. Well, before we go, I just happened to talk to my wife's friend, her close friend Brittany. And I was like, "Yeah, me and my cousin going to talk about patriarchy, and he's going to give his take, and I'll give my take." And she was like, "Oh, great, two men talking about patriarchy."
Watch this
so
video. I want to hear from you,
so
Brittany.
so we go have to do like a part 2, a part 3, part 4 because we can't get everything that we need to get out in just one little short 30-minute video. So
Yeah,
yeah, on the next one, I would like to have like a woman's take on it. So that way, I mean, we still got to have these conversations so that we can learn from each other. So you can't grow unless you're constantly learning. So yeah, I'm still willing to learn. You claim that I may change my mind, but I seriously doubt it. But if my mind has changed, if I'm wrong, then hey, more power to the world. So
right. It might take 10 years. But
all right, man. Well, that's all I got, man. So viewers and listeners, thanks for listening. And watching the Cornerstone podcast, please subscribe, like and comment on the video, and also share if you feel the need to. And we shall see y'all soon.
thanks for having me.
All right, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Take it easy.
Peace.
All right.